All right, just a quickie. Welcome back to the podcast. Little update. Yeah, I was kind of determining how lately I've been trying to figure out how to deal with kind of the own resistance that I put up to things. So something I've been kind of trying to problem solve lately is kind of like the things that I have going on in my life. Lately, I feel like I've been at a place where things are going pretty good. Trying to keep up the momentum. Not too sure what's leading to better or worse momentum, but no, sometimes my sleep is all over the place. I've still got this like caffeine. I'm kind of in this caffeine and like cannabis / CBD, like CBD THC cycle of maybe my energy's not as good as it could be. So I've definitely decreased the THC amount for sure. To see if that kind of helped with the brain fog issue. And it seems like it helps. I've mostly just been using CBD. There's a little THC in there here and there, but vaping sometimes. So that's mostly what I've been doing. And I haven't really been tracking my sleep, but I have been feeling good as far as my sleep. Now, the little time change kind of has me a little thrown, because now when I'm waking up, it is pretty early in the morning. I'm waking up before the sun again. So, there are some days I'm noticing, like, even when I'm working on the podcast, if it's like 7 a.m. or something, 7:30, whatever, like early in the morning, it's 6:45 a.m. one day. Like, I keep track. I have like a notebook where I keep, not like productivity, but almost like that. Like, I put like timestamps of when I start and stop doing things, just so I can see like how much energy I'm really putting in. And it looks like this last week, had a 7 a.m. podcast time, a 6:45 a.m. podcast time. Yeah. And, that's pretty early because I work at 8 a.m. So it looks like there were a couple days where I was early, meaning that I was up before that. Like, I don't tend to just wake up and start recording. Like, I usually have a buffer. And so that's a little weird that I'm like up early and recording. I mean, it's kind of nice though, because I do kind of struggle in the morning. Like, I get a little like way deep in my head and not really able to get out of there. And I'm just like thinking about all this stuff, like not even related to work, just like reflecting on things that didn't work out or whatever, like in the recent or distant past. And I'm just like, geez, like that's, when you're someone like me who wakes up pretty early, you don't want to be awake like that early thinking of all this kind of stuff before you have to like go to work. So it's like, or start working. And so podcasting is a good thing to do because it's productive and it's like, okay, at least I'm not thinking about that. And it's just kind of something that I'm like, these thoughts just come up. It's like a whole, like, they just recycle. And I started, sometimes when I remember, I kind of write them down, and I'm just like, why am I even, like, concerned about all this stuff? So, like, yesterday, I kind of was like about to end work. Like, we don't really work to the last second because, you know, once we start a task, like we have to end at 4 on time. And so it's like, we don't like to start a task with a client that's not going to be done on time. You know, like if you start a task at like 3:50 p.m., you know, however long it takes you to document that and do what you need and talk to the client and all that kind of stuff is like, it can take far past 10 minutes. And they want us to stay accurate with all the times we're doing stuff, with productivity as well as with logging in and out of work and stuff like that. And so we can't really work unpaid overtime or unapproved overtime, and we have to report when we're working longer. So our timesheets need to match kind of what they're seeing that we're doing online. Because sometimes, you know, I was logging in like 15-20 minutes early sometimes, and then like sometimes I was working later and like, you know, saying I was logging out at 4, but I'd still be online at like 4:45 p.m. like trying to get some stuff done. So they're trying to make sure that we're just like keeping to the point. So like it was probably about 10 to 15 minutes before we were going to stop working and before we were going to log out, but I kind of already stopped working by that point, and I was just kind of waiting around for the day to end, which is normal. We all kind of do that. There's nothing wrong with it. And you know, I started having like all these kind of thoughts about what I needed to do, what I kind of had coming up, my long to-do list. And there's another part of me that was like, once I log off of work, I'm just gonna like veg out and like watch Netflix and do zero, you know. And I was like, wait, no. So basically, you know, because I was still technically on the clock, I was like, well, I just wrote a little list of things that I was kind of thinking about that just seemed like too much of a list. I mean, none of it was really too deep. So I wrote like about like doubting about the plans for the mountains, because I was like, I don't know if I'm really conditioned enough yet. And then, you know, with the weather and getting used to the weather and the expenses and the time change and all that kind of stuff, I was like, I don't really know if I want to do it right now. And then some of the stress of you know, it wasn't really stress, honestly, but in my, like, I was thinking of it like just being a little stressed about some of my friends in San Diego maybe not wanting to attend this concert. Is called is like that Sick Fest concert in Vegas coming up in the summer of 2023. It's got like Korn and Incubus and POD and a lot of other, like, I really want to see Coal Chamber. Like, I've loved them since I was younger, and I mean, to be able to see them would be awesome. And then, you know, there's some other groups too. Kitty. There's a lot of groups that I kind of want to see that are actually playing at that festival. So I kind of just really want to go. I mean, I was gonna go even by myself. I don't really care, but yeah, I really wanted to go. But, you know, I invited, you know, I have a crew in San Diego that doesn't like that music at all, and I know they don't like it, but then I still sent out an invite anyways, because I was like, hey, like, pre-sale is this Friday on Veterans Day, so just letting you guys know I'm getting my tickets, and if you guys are interested, you know, it would be like an out-of-town thing, and like go to Vegas for like 3 days, like Friday to Sunday or something. And they didn't want to do it. And I mean, I knew that they didn't want to do it, but I was pretty pumped up about it. And I knew which friends might want to join, so I'll see who actually of us actually ends up getting the tickets. I really hope it doesn't sell out, but yeah, that was something that was on my mind. But it's not so much that I was stressed about them not wanting to, you know, do that, because they couldn't care less about metal and like all that, like new metal or rock and that kind of stuff. And I get that, and I'm like, I already know that about them. Like they never go to any of that kind of stuff. And so, it was more so, I kind of would maybe like them to be pumped up about it, because it's something that is important to me. And then it's kind of, I just also want to see them, and it would be cool to take another trip with them, because we did take a really cool trip a couple of years back to go snowboarding in Taos, New Mexico, and that was awesome. So it was more so that it wasn't so much that they didn't want to join, because I already knew that was like pretty obvious that they weren't gonna want to. And then I was thinking some about like writing music, because I haven't been doing that lately, even though I want to do it, but I'm just like, the motivation hasn't really been there. Like, I've been writing like more ideas and like lyrical ideas, and just like free writing, like actual like verbal writing, but I haven't been doing like any kind of musical writing to go with that. And I know I have a process about it. Sometimes I just work on things in bits and pieces, and then every once in a while, when I want to actually pull something together, I'll pull from what I've been creating over like weeks or months. I have like full on like, riffs and all kinds of other stuff that I already have available. I was thinking about the podcast, I need to do a lot for the podcast. And, just mental health in general, and just exercise. And some reason I really wanted McDonald's yesterday. And just like the planning for this even though it's so far away, this concert, this Sickfest concert is like, I want to be able to get the tickets. And then I was thinking about studying, and I was thinking about income streams and all that. And that was kind of all on my mind when I was like, man, I need to start working on some of this stuff after work. And then another part of my brain was like, no, don't work on anything. Just like, check out, and then I kind of, I've just been slowing myself down. So I just, like, in a good way, like, instead of not doing anything, I decided to just slow my roll, slow down. And I was like, okay, let me see. What am I going to actually do? So yeah, after work, I just basically ended up, I did get some exercise. It wasn't the full amount, but it was something. And I was like, pay attention to my body, because I was like, am I really sore? And that's the reason why I'm trying not to exercise, or am I really just trying to use that as an excuse? But then I realized, I was like, the soreness I was experiencing wasn't like a normal muscle soreness. It was more like some of my joints. And I was like, that's different. Like, joint pain is different than like muscles that you've been working out. So I was like, let me just do a little bit to stretch things out, loosen things up, and just call it a day. And then I took my car out, because I have to drive it every so often, and like went down to McDonald's, just got a quarter pounder. Just like keep it at that, and then I came back, ate early, and just studied until, I don't know, probably like 7:30 p.m. And then I was going to work on my one of my income streams. I have an online shop. I was going to work on it some more, because I'm still building it. And then I was like the website part, and I was like I kind of got distracted till about 8:30, which was my stop time, 8:30 p.m. And when I realized that, I was like, okay, well, I'm distracted, so let me just stop, let me just stop, because I'm not accomplishing anything. So I stopped, and I felt good about the fact that I did some of the stuff on my list. I also did go through and figured out the plans for this concert, so now I know what I want to do tomorrow. I'm gonna try to get the hotel package. If I can't, then, like, because it might sell out. If I can't get it, then I'm just gonna get the basic general admission, and then make sure my friends who want to go, make sure they know, because we're all trying to get the same thing. I think we're all gonna get general, but yeah, and that, so it's all resolved. But I got some Italian food coming, and it said 15 minutes, it should be here. So with that, I'm gonna log off, and thanks for listening.